More than 2,000 years ago, in 47 BCE, the Roman physician Cornelius Celsus wrote, "Live in rooms full of light, avoid heavy foods, be moderate in the drinking of wine, take massages, baths, and exercise. Treat insomnia with gentle rocking or the sound of running water. Take long journeys, strictly avoid frightening ideas, indulge in cheerful conversations, listen to music." Sound advice? What if this was part of your cancer treatment and remained with you for the rest of your life? I'm driving to the hospital to get the results of my pathology report. What if I do have cancer? I enter the hospital. The hospital's cold, that septic smell infiltrating my nostrils. I find the cancer clinic, sit in the waiting room, waiting. Heart pounding, anxiety swirling. It's called scanxiety, the fear of waiting for the results of your scans and tests. The words finally came.
You have cancer.
I leave the doctor's office and step into a hallway, cold, bewildered, and alone. I have cancer? A week later, I'm back in the hospital, sitting on that crinkly paper-covered exam table. The chief of surgery enters the room, sits down, and describes my treatment plan. After listening to his plan, I respond with, "What do you think about this plan?" and went on to describe my approach. The chief of surgery pauses, looks at my chart, and says, "Yes, we should do that." He pauses again and says, "How did you come to that conclusion?" I was a graduate student in a school of medicine studying epidemiology and health policy. The chief of surgery agrees with my plan? That's cool. The type of cancer I had was rare for my age and required an approach different than the standard of care at the time, an approach that needed to take into account I might live 50 years or more after my cancer treatment. Along with my oncologist, we designed a new approach to my cancer, an approach that would become a national standard of care. After recovering from surgery, I'm back in the hospital. I had to drink poison, radioactive iodine, as part of my cancer treatment. The radiation oncologist prepares the concoction. He pulls a flexi straw from his lab coat, peels back the white paper, and drops the straw into a test tube. He was protected: thick blue gloves, face shield, and lead-lined clothing. I stood there awkwardly in jeans and a t-shirt. He hands me the test tube with the radioactive solution, flexi straw sticking out. I take the test tube and drink the poison. Most cancer patients will receive surgery, radiation, and/or chemotherapy, also known as cutting, burning, and poisoning. And most patients will experience profound suffering from illnesses due to cutting, burning, and poisoning. When I had cancer, my oncologist did a great job treating my cancer. However, I was on my own to cope with the side effects: anxiety, sleep disturbances, malnutrition, and fatigue, to name a few. And what about Cornelius Celsus's plan? This seemed like a good idea also. Yet, when I asked about exercise, nutrition, and meditation, the response was often, "Oh, you mean alternative medicine." And why do we call these fundamental aspects of health and well-being the alternative? Our approach to cancer has been shaped by the language of warfare. We talk about a war on cancer, battling cancer, and fighting cancer. In fact, we've been so focused on our war with cancer, we've lost sight of the war's collateral damage, what we call side effects. Cancer rates are rising, and the collateral damage is profoundly large. Tens of millions of individuals are deeply suffering from cancer-related illnesses. Indeed, if we're fighting a war on cancer, we might be losing. Cancer is no longer restricted to old age. Within the next 5 years, we will see more than 100% increase in cancer diagnoses among individuals less than 49 years of age. The cause of this shift is known. We are sleeping more poorly, we are not eating well, we are sedentary, and we are stressed and anxious. Live in rooms full of light. Strictly avoid frightening ideas. Listen to music. During one of my hospital stays, I spontaneously rolled up my bed pillow, sat on my hospital room floor, and began listening to Tibetan flute music. With tears streaming down my face from grief, fear, and exhaustion, I dropped into this beautiful music. For some reason, I was prompted to ask my cancer, "What are you here to teach me?" I started to have tears of gratitude, love, and peace. When I had cancer, I did not want to go to war with my cancer. Instead, I asked my cancer, "What are you here to teach me?" Cancer taught me that we need a shift in language and perspective, a shift from fighting a war on cancer to recognizing cancer as a humanitarian crisis. Humanitarian crises can result from wars, epidemics, significant loss of life, and shortages of medical care. Indeed, our war on cancer has left us with a humanitarian crisis. And I would like the world to awaken to this crisis of cancer, a crisis that affects all of us: patients, families, loved ones, businesses, and clinicians. As a community, I invite you to help me shift from the language of warfare to the language of Cornelius Celsus's prescription, not as alternative care, but as the primary care we need to address the crisis of cancer. The healthcare system is our system. We, the people, need support from powerful and influential public companies, including pharmaceutical companies, health insurance companies, hospital systems, and advocacy organizations. When I had cancer, I needed hospital surgeons and oncologists. I was glad to have insurance. I take a drug every day to stay alive. However, when I had cancer, I asked my cancer, "What are you here to teach me?" My cancer taught me to live in rooms full of light.